Today, I would like to do a piece on a guy that I met in Victorville. His name is Vincent Pajamas Pagano, former Philly mob captain. I end up getting to Victorville in '08 or '09. And while I was there, I ran into Al. Al was a big guy, had big feet, big hands. And I noticed this guy because he had a table right behind the black section, and it was nailed to the floor, and he sat way in the back and had his own table right by his cell. And we sat in front of him, the blacks and the Crips and stuff, and I used to wonder why this guy had his own table and how he ended up managing to get his own table and how he ended up sitting back there behind us. But I had to get educated on this guy. Some guys came to me and say, man, this guy is an Italian guy. He's from Philly. He's been around this prison for a while. And actually, one of my big homies named T-Dog pulled me to the side one day and said, Fish, this guy is a friend of mine, and I wanted you to always look out for him when I'm not in the unit. I want you to always look out for him, and I want you to always make sure he get to see the sports TV, anything he wanted to watch on there. And Al loved to watch the Cincinnati Reds. And me and Al became real good friends. And every Christmas, Al would buy a bunch of cookies and cakes, and he'd set the whole table up. But I really, really wanted to know this guy. And as I get to know him, I come to find out he was from Philadelphia, and he knew a lot of guys that I was in prison with, Leavenworth, different places. So just to make a long story short, one day I sat down with Al, and I was asking him a few questions. And I was like, Al, he wanted to know a little bit about me, and I wanted to know a little about him. So he told me he was he was in the military before, and he used to live in Alaska, and he had bought property over there, and he ended up, going back and forth. But he ended up in prison, and Al used to always walk up to me from behind, and he would always put his hands on my neck. He had the coldest hands you ever really wanted to see, and he would grab me on a low, like a friendly grab on my neck. I said, hey, Al, what is you doing, man? And he was always start laughing. And then I noticed one day that we was watching Gangland, and we was watching the TV, and I see Al, they had a special on him, Philly Mafia, Monterano, and Pagano and Al. So I say, Al, man, that's you right there. They call him Al Pajamas, and we used to always, see Al, his house shoes and pajamas. We say, hey, big Al, right there, and he would laugh. But Al had a special way that he used to talk to us, but he didn't talk to everybody. He talked, he was a real good guy. He always used to sit there with his legs closed, with his legs crossed, and he had these real big shoes, and I used to say, Al, what size shoe you wear? He used to always laugh. But as time got on, and Al got to move a little slower and everything, and another guy from Pasadena named Bo used to always talk to Al, and Al used to always tell me, Ron, Fish, if you need anything, just come to my cell, you get whatever you want, whatever you need, everything. But I never really worried about that. I always wanted to just be around guys like Al. I always wanted to know exactly, a little bit about the mafia, because I had been around. But anyway, as time went on and a lot of guys left, and T-Dog always told me, man, make sure Al get to see baseball, and make sure Al get to watch what he want to watch, because at nighttime we turn the TVs, and Al really wasn't worried about the TV at night, but in the daytime he liked to watch certain shows, and he liked to watch the baseball. So as time went by, man, a lot of rough little young guys got to coming, and Al used to always, look at me, and I'd look at him, and he'd look at the guys, he'd be like, shake his head. But I used to always say, yeah, this is the new generation. And one day a couple guys came and they was wondering how was Al in the back sitting in the black area and how he get to sit back there. So one guy was really tripping about it, so I pulled him to the side. I say, man, listen, I don't know exactly what happened, but one of my homeboys told me to make sure that Al have the rights to this TV because he had it moved there, different the table, and this is his thing, and I'm gonna honor it, and until Al leave or until Al, go where he go, but I'm gonna honor it, and I hope you honor it, and if you don't, you know what I'm saying, I need to talk to you, and I need to a couple other homies that was here before I was here need to talk to you. So the guy Green Eyes, he was kind of upset. So I put him into the cell and I told him, I said, look here, man, this guy's an elder guy. He's an older guy. He's a legend. And he need respect, and he gonna give respect. And I hope that you understand what I'm saying, because if somebody would have told me this about you before they left, and it's been trickling down through the guys, and I've just so happened to be one of the guys that it was left upon me, and all of the guys agreed in our section, and Al continued to sit there, but it was always, every now and then, a few guys would come and say, hey man, what that dude doing over in our section? And then they would say, well, you got to talk to Fish, or you got to talk to Tito, you got to talk to Bo, you got to talk to some of the guys that been here 10 and 11 years, and Al always been sitting there, and Al always been there, and nobody really never questioned him sitting there. So even when we were going lockdown, we would be in lockdown 10, 15 days, we would come out lockdown, and Al would still sit at the same table. He would always have coffee at his table. He was always, wanted to watch certain baseball games, and I like baseball too, so I used to sit, then when the table rotated, I would sit at the end, and Al used to sit kind of like behind me, and I used to always, I could never get my hands cold enough to put on Al's neck like he used to do my neck, but Al was always funny. He would always grab my neck and everything, and he was always, hey Fish, man, I see you left-handed. I said, no, Al, I'm right-handed, but I learned my left. I wanted to be left-handed all my life, and I learned how to use my left and right. So we used to always talk about, being in Leavenworth, being in different prisons, and Al was real knowledgeable on certain things in the world, in the military, and to Philadelphia and the mob stuff. But I really never talked about a lot of stuff that got people inside of prison. But I always wanted to just know, how finances and economics and things like that. And every now and then I would see Al on the yard, and we would be out there, walking in laps. And I always walk with older guys, because, the funny thing about, getting older, a lot of guys, man, when they're young, they never think they're gonna get older, so they never really have a lot of respect for older guys. And this guy was older, and I had a lot of respect for him, and I'd say, Al, I'm not old as you yet, but one day I want to be older, and I know how younger guys, they don't really have the respect, and they don't really know that we just sitting here to die. And to make a long story short, man, we went on a lot of lockdowns, and COVID came in, and Al ended up getting sick, and he was sick, and while he was sick, they had took Al to the hospital one time. He stayed for a few months, and then another time, Al went, and I never seen Al again. I heard he was in the hospital, but I never seen Al again. And I know one guy was seen a default in his case, and the guy started working on his case to try to get Al out, because Al had some defects into sentencing, and he was a veteran. And I just wanted to bring light on this guy, Vincent Al Pajamas Pagano, former Philly mob captain, and I had really seen a lot of his pictures. I seen his wife, and I seen his son. He had a son that he really was crazy about. I think his son was in the restaurant business. But I always talking. He always showed me his grandkids. He loved his grandkids, and I showed him my grandkids. And just this was a decent guy, man. And I just wanted to bring light to this guy. I know coming from a black guy, you know, it might be kind of strange, but this was a good guy. Pajamas. I'm gonna miss you. Rest in heaven now.